Hi, I'm Jon Sicotte, executive editor of the Brewer Magazine. Welcome to another edition of the Brewer Magazine podcast. Make sure that you're liking and subscribing either on YouTube or Spotify, or finding us at brewermag.com for all your daily business resource needs for the craft beer industry. Well, you know what? Entering your brewery into a judging competition, well, it can be a valuable opportunity for your company to be able to see where you stack up on your beer quality, on the taste, on the flavor. You hitting all those marks right. And of course, there's a lot of prestigious craft beer contests happening each year, both here in America and around the world, where those judges can assess your entry without knowing the brand, the brewery, and then you get a really good idea if they're looking at the craftsmanship, the balance, and those style guidelines. But you know what? There's also beer beyond being just good. Is it able to be sold in the retail market? And the New York International Beer Competition, well, it's just a tad bit different when it comes to who those winners are. And we got a chance to chat about it with its founder. Check it out. And we're joined with Adam Levy, the founder of the New York International Beer Competition. Adam, thanks so much for joining us on the Brewer Magazine podcast.
Glad to be here.
Well, yeah, some pretty awesome stuff. 13th year for you guys. I was kind of looking back through the list of winners, and you guys have some of the numbers crunched there. Started with about 100 submissions back in 2012, more than 700 last year. I'm looking at usually it's somewhere in the range of 15 to 16 different countries, 50 plus categories. What makes the New York International Beer Competition so unique?
Wow, that's a good question. I think the key thing is I started my first competition, the New York International Spirits Competition, 16 years ago. And what I did first, and I do all my competitions, is that all our judges are trade buyers. And we judge by category and by price, not the so called experts, it's actual buyers.
Mhm.
I was a craft beer freak first, and that's like, how do I make this special? And for all our competitions, because now I run the New York International Spirits Competition, wine competition, beer competition, and now the cider competition, which spun off 7 years ago, as well as beer, wine, and spirits competitions in Berlin, Melbourne, and now Singapore. And in all our competitions, all our judges are trade buyers. That's my philosophy. Judge by category, by price, and a blind taste test. And
Oh,
that's, I think, is very unique to any of the real international beer competition out there today.
sure, because I think a lot of times people hear beer competition, they instantly think of BJCP or the BA standards, and
Mhm.
it's exactly a formatted what it tastes like, and according to what this book says. I have a friend that has a brewery, and he goes, "I make beer that people want to drink. I make beer that people like, and if they don't know what the style is, that's okay too. It can be loosely defined, and sometimes I think that." Sometimes the beer nerds get a little too in the weeds on that and start to argue about the finer points when it's like, is this beer going to sell?
Yeah, I really believe that's important because we're not here to find faults. We're here to find will it sell at what price.
Yeah.
That's the feedback we try to get back to our producers is like, this is a great beer, and here you go. And also, another thing about also is that we can have a flight of, let's say, 20 IPAs, for example. You could have one double gold, three silvers, and eight bronzes because that's how they're judging it. Not just gold, silver, bronze, that's it. Because the top three get it and no one else wins. I don't think
Mhm.
that's fair either. Same time is you may have one flight that they all are not great. And the bottom three win. I don't think that's fair either. So
Yeah.
again, we judge them individually and in its category, which I think is very important for the producer to know what they stand.
How are the categories comparatively? Just looking through, it does seem like there's different styles of categories for you guys. What are some of the ones that you find that are unique too?
Well, we really don't want to try to reinvent the wheel. We basically try to look what everyone else is doing, they look at me, I look at them. We're not here to really change redesign the wheel. So we're all using the same categories. We
Yeah.
will add things as we need to. Whether it's adding hop water or it's non-alcohol or hard seltzer over the years, we do try to add other categories when needed. The craft producers definitely challenge us in a good way for new categories and definitely what's coming out in the market. So we always try to advance, and we always ask our producers, "Hey, what are we missing?" Or I get the email in or the call, "Hey, are you gonna do this year? I got this category. Can you do this year?" I'm looking at it, it's like, yeah, that's fine. That makes sense. And I'll check with two or three of my judges, my buyers, and hey, is this a category? You people asking for this in the bar? Are they asking this in the retail store? I said, yeah. I said, okay, that's a category. We're not, we're not we're not the IRS, we're very firm. We're not that firm. We try to be very flexible, and we want to make sure. Most important thing for me is that I hope it doesn't sound corny, but whether it's the brewer, the winemaker, the distiller, you're the artist, and what's in the can or the bottle is your canvas, and
Mhm.
that's important. Me, it's most important. You're the artist. That's the canvas. Is it being judged and tasted the right way in the right category? That's the most important thing.
It is an interesting group of judges, though. And first and foremost, this is located in New York, so you're dealing with a large city, a great amount of people that are well talented. How have you put your judges together to have a cohesive amount of people that are judging it, I guess, in the grand scheme of things, fairly, but in their terms?
Well, we basically have a solid core of judges, buyers, and we usually get like one or two churn a year, whatever it may be. But primarily, our buyers are their retail store buyers, their own beer bars, their cicerones, they are distributors. They actually buy for a living. That's the key criteria. I mean, if you want to be a blogger, which I am also, we have the Alcohol Professor website, which we'll talk about later on. I mean, that's great, but your primary income that you makes all your money is you're a buyer at a commercial establishment. And we basically work the New York metro area because let's be honest, I'll be upfront with you, is that a buyer for, let's say, central New Jersey is different than a buyer for someone who lives in Williamsburg, Brooklyn, with all the hipsters. They have a different type of audience. So we try to basically have diversity in those situations. We don't want three suburban buyers and on one thing, because again, something funky and interesting that may work well in Williamsburg or some parts of Brooklyn as compared to what's going to sell on Long Island or Westchester.
Hmm.
So we try to have diversity on the panels themselves, where we will have the distributor, the retail buyer, the craft beer owner in different locations also. And this is in the New York metropolitan area because that brings diversity there.
Absolutely. Do you see comparing trends, or maybe like breweries are winning because of a certain beer style in your contest that might not win in another, and it just comes down to the area you guys are in versus something like GABF or Best of Craft Beer or any of those other ones, the World Beer Cup? Do you see similarities and differences? Have you looked to kind of compare and contrast?
Not really. I mean, not to sound egotistical, but people in New York see everything. I
Right.
mean, we see a lot of every different style and category, and especially for international producers also.
Hmm.
We get around 15%, maybe more, overseas producers coming in who want to be in the competition, want to be in front of trade buyers, being blind tasted. So we don't really. And then I think you mentioned before your friend. Sometimes I feel some people also produce for that audience, for that judge, for that competition.
Yeah.
You know, we're looking for the consumer. I walk into that retail store, that package store. I said, okay, I want an interesting Hefeweizen. What do you got for like $14? What do you got? Okay, I feel rich today. I'm going to spend $20 on something interesting, maybe some mead. What do you recommend for that price? We go walk into these stores and you walk into the bar and we ask these people, what would you buy? What would you recommend?
Mhm.
And that's the mentality of the competition. Like, what would the buyer recommend?
And and the thing that you're bringing up is there's price points involved that when you're looking through the list that there's it's telling you $10 or less, 11 to 14. Again, because it is like the consumer focus, that's an important part of it. Was it something that you added right at the beginning, or was it something that has evolved in your competition?
From day one, when I did our first spirits competition 16 years ago, the New York International Spirits Competition, it's been by category, by price.
Nice.
Though I will say this, that we did that by range, like say $30 to $40, whatever it is, and then we did the same thing for wine, 15 and less, 15 to 30. I got to be honest with you, the wine people beat the crap out of me because they said to me, you can't say $15 and less. It's either $8.99 or $12.99 or $14.99. It's a different type of consumer. So after that competition, we went for exact dollar retail price on a national level because obviously, based on taxes and distribution, that one six-pack may cost, let's say, $13.99 in one part of the country, and it's $15.99 in another part of the country, or $11.99. So we try to work on the national price range in that level. We ask the producers to enter.
It's an interesting contest for people to enter, but who's entering? What type of size breweries are you seeing? Do they, have that oh, I can't enter this because I need to enter this type of situation? Are you seeing a wide range? Are you seeing a lot of the large producers? Maybe guys are winning that are just, a kind of a neighborhood, with self-distribution. I mean, do you see a wide range or is it a certain kind?
It's a wide, big net, and it's a wide, big tent. We welcome everybody, and we've seen the people from literally no distribution, working the tap room, whatever it is, to Boston beer. Let's say who they are. Let's not hide who they are. You know, for the as the things goes up, how much they're producing, they're still craft. I'm not here to fault. That's the
Right.
rules. But we've seen, and we also have from overseas. As mentioned earlier, around 15% or more is from overseas, and we get Mahu and other places, Spanish brewery that's owned by a Heineken subsidiary. They're entering, as well as Belgian brewers, which we definitely welcome, as well as the U.S. versions of that, and also from around the country and around the world. We get beers coming in from Taiwan, Japan, all around Europe, South America. I mean, we used to get Africa sometimes. We had some customs issues there, but otherwise, it's definitely all size everywhere. And the
Nice.
rule also is, if I can add, is that as long as it's commercially produced, we're not for the home brewers. I'm
Yep.
not knocking a home brewer. I've homebrewed before, not successfully, and that was not a good situation. But it's as long as it's commercially produced. That's our big rule. I mean, if you're in Latvia, once it's sold in Latvia, it's got a SKU, it's got a barcode. We're happy.
Anyone that has ever surprised you, a country that you didn't expect to see and were pleasantly surprised, or any stories like that when it comes to overseas craft beer?
There's this one great Polish brewery that's really cheap and does really well. So
Yep.
it's not always by price. There have been some stuff out of Latvia. There's obviously some Belgian great stuff, and even some Taiwanese beer did well also for some time ago, and also around Europe and some of the Eastern European countries. That's interesting, but also around the U.S. Arkansas, West Virginia. It's North to South Dakota. It's not just that 28 breweries in San Diego or 53 breweries in San Diego County. It's like everywhere there is. There's beer lovers out there.
And it's affordable. Compared to some contests, you guys haven't raised your prices in over 10 years. When I was reading, why is that so important? Because and I think I know the answers because it can bring more people in on an affordable level. But is that kind of the reasoning why you guys don't want to soak people for money?
This is not a get rich scheme for me. It's just like I enjoy this thing. I mean, I haven't raised our spirits prices in New York in 16 years. We've raised our price once in 10 years for wine and once in 10 years for beer. Uh, we're here to support the craft producer. We're definitely here to support craft. We run lean. We also try to support wherever we can, and we give the physical medal, we give the T-shirt, we give the recognition that's deserved. I think it's also interesting about our competition is that it's supported by the Professor Media Group. So I'm the alcohol professor, as you can see by my shirt. For those who are at the video, we have the alcohol professor, the cheese professor, the chocolate professor, vinegar professor, olive oil professor, and we get around 220,000 visits a month on these sites. And we're doing pairing pieces. So if you do win in our competition, we'll discuss more later on. But we're doing a roundup. Let's say 5 interesting beers from New York State or Ohio and how they pair with their local creamery and their cheeses. Not every
Mhm.
competition can really do that for you. We're actually doing the roundups and the pairings, and we love pairings with beer and cheese and beers and chocolate and everything else.
What can a brewery do if they win to maximize that impact? And you kind of mentioned some of the fact that they get out there, but do you encourage them to be like, hey, make sure you're letting when if you're going out to sell, you're talking about this.
I overall believe that this is the best ROI, return on investment you can in anything. First off, if you do win, and we're not a metal factory, I'll be upfront with you. I'm not a metal factory. There are some out there. I'm not knocking, just saying that's not our mantra. Because I'm planning to do this for the next 15 more years, and I
Yeah.
run clean that way. Is that if you're in front of a buyer, whether it's a bar owner, a retail shop, whatever, say, hey, listen, your peers blind tasted this beer and gave it a medal, not 3 brewers in a room. No offense to the 3 brewers in a room, but your peers, your buying peers, who are distributors, who are retailers, who own bars, they blind taste this and gave it a medal. your peers in New York who see everything for the most part. And I think that has a resounding effect that way. And why it should be in a competition, I'll say, it's the best ROI out there. For $100 cost per entry per SKU, you can go buy a banner ad, you can go buy a page in a magazine, whatever it is. How do you know they're gonna see that? But if you do win a competition like ourselves, you get the physical medal. You can hang that medal in your tap room. You can take that medal with you to the beer festival. You can have the certificate printed out for you, whatever it is. You can buy the shelf talker. You can buy the medal sticker image. You can put down the beer. And basically, when they see the medal, and it's from New York, or it's from any real national competition, it gives positive reinforcement to the buyer, the consumer there. It's like, why should I buy this Hefeweizen? Why should I buy this IPA? Oh, I won a gold medal at this competition. That's low cost ROI marketing.
And the one thing that a lot of breweries like to do in these contests, and I'm going to venture that since it's not a pure BJCP type of contest, what's the feedback after the fact? Is there do you get a sheet back? Do you get to find out what they thought about it? I mean, what's the post of this after the contest is over?
Very little.
Yeah.
It's we treat this as a buying exercise for the judges. They're not here to write a whole paragraph on the faults of what you're doing, what's wrong.
Sure.
If you get, let's say, a silver and you're a $14.99 4-pack, maybe at $12.99 it could have been a gold. That's the feedback. That's the real feedback, not here's all your issues. Like, no, will this sell with this price? So we're not giving out a lot of notes, whatever it is. If some producers reach out to me, I'll look at the judge's notes later on. Because we use a sheet situation. But we do not share with who actually judged the beers, because at the same time is these buyers do not want to be pounded also, saying, "Oh, you gave myself a gold medal. Can I send you a pallet?" I mean, we try to also be that firewall between the winning producer, which we're proud of, as well as the judge who's already getting hammered already.
How about just the fact that the contest, we haven't even it's coming up soon here. I don't have the date in front of me all of a sudden. I was looking at the rest of the website.
Mid-March.
Yeah. So is there still time right now for people to start getting stuff in?
Oh yes. We accepted to the 2 days before the competition. For those who are shipping overseas and COLA issues, we do work with you. Sometimes we set up based upon if there's any late entries because of stuff happens in life. We will do a secondary panel for those like a week later for those who are stuck in customs and stuff like that. But yeah, everything gets shipped to Western Carriers in New Jersey. That's the largest liquid bonded warehouse in the East Coast, like 1 million square feet. So if you already have your beers already sitting there through your distributor, they can easily transfer from their account to our account also. And that's all online.
Awesome. Yeah, I'm looking at it. It's the NYIbeercompetition.com. Again, happening on March 23rd this year. And there's links here right off the main page that if you're looking at this, you can enter online. You can download the entry form. And that's some of the information that you can get. Another question, we were kind of talking about this. What are some valuable takeaways for breweries that do this, and how is it important for them to be able to just be a part of something that is a little different, isn't exactly a how it tastes, how it smells type of competition, but a will it sell competition?
I think that's important. Will it sell? Because again, you can go back to those buyers and say your peers blind taste this and say this is the right beer for this price point. This is important for you. It will help hopefully open doors for you. Again, you do receive a physical medal. You receive a great Booze Pays the Bills T-shirt, not the one I'm wearing, fresh, clean one, new one. You get the digital medal image to use in all your point of sale stuff. If you want to put it on you want to wrap your car with it, your gold medal, and drive around town with it, please do. If you want to put it on your website, your marketing materials, go for it. You want to buy stickers from us? We have stickers. You want to put the medal image on your packaging? We can arrange that license for you. Very affordable. Shelf talkers, etc. These are all marketing tools we help to promote with you. At the same time as we're also doing individual award pages now on our competition, so you can actually point right to the site and see where your medal is with your bottle image and your tasting notes, which you sent to us, and we can have that right there. So you have that proof that you did win a medal, and links right back to your your brewery site.
And let's point out as well that you guys also are doing cider competition as well at the
Yes.
same time. So this is for not just breweries, this is for cideries as well. How have things been going with that? Because we talk cider as well here at Brewer.
It's great. We getting back to the feedback we get from the producers, and around 7 years ago, we split off the cider. We created the cider competition, which was part of the beer competition, and then we created the cider competition. So that's been great for us. We're seeing a lot. Again, we're seeing a lot of trends. We've gone to the hard seltzer mode. Now we're seeing a lot of non-alcohol. This is all the type of coverage we're putting also on our websites. The Alcohol Professor, Cheese Professor, Chocolate Professor. We do the roundups. Em Sorter, who's one of our great writers, she's doing a whole beer style guide for us on the Alcohol Professor. She's terrific. We're creating a whole beer hub page for her also. So we're out there promoting and showcasing the winners when we can.
Awesome. Yeah, she does some great work. I love looking at those infographics, and looking forward to seeing her at CiderCon next week, in fact. So
yeah, Emma's terrific. She's been writing for us for several years. She keeps us on our toes, keeps us honest. Not that we're not honest already, but she keeps us honest, and she definitely challenges us in a good way. She's a phenomenal writer for us at the Alcohol Professor site.
Awesome. Well, Adam, thanks so much. We appreciate you helping out, with just getting this different type of unique aspect for breweries to be able to do some competition and sell some beer. I mean, that's the end goal, right?
Yes. We're here to
Excellent.
help you. We're here to support.
Well, thanks so much.
Thank you so much for your time.
Don't forget, you can always check on brewermag.com. You can also see us on YouTube and listen to us on Spotify. And don't forget daily updates on Facebook, Instagram, and X. I'm Executive Editor Jon Sicotte for brewermagazine.com.